Hello and welcome. Samantha's here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I bid thee welcome. There is a subscribe button and a bell below if you want to be notified as to when I upload more content, which I do on a rather ad hoc basis. So I've been doing a number of videos on this new year. So this is, I've just titled Some Metaphysical or Esoteric Ramblings for 2023. As the second week is drawing to a close, Jupiter in Aries is expanding everything, speeding things up, allowing new projects to take off with a energy that's steadily surging ahead. And I just thought I'd do this video because I don't know about you, but the thought that's come to my mind is, have we been able to catch our breath yet? Maybe just take a moment if you're watching this, wherever you are, if it's a safe place, to take a moment and just take a deep breath and just recenter yourself. Jupiter moved into Aries on the 20th of December last year and will end its transit around about 16th of May this year. And as such, astrologers consider this to be rather exhilarating energetically, because it truly optimizes the meaning of adventure, as it will be propelling us into a brand new chapter of our life. It's bold, it's courageous, it's fast-moving, all these Aryan things. And we may be finding ourselves with a degree of confidence to bring through any dreams that we may have visualized over the last few years. Bring these dreams into manifested reality. This energy may also be encouraging us to feel more into our authentic selves. And this can be a little bit unsettling as we start to peel back the layers and develop a deeper need to explore who we really are and who we want to be. And I have mentioned this a little bit in previous videos as well. And when we think about it, anything is possible, considering the action-orientated mentality of Aries and merging with the sort of overarching, expansive energy or influence of Jupiter. So again, breathe. Drop into your heart center, anahata. Giving yourself the opportunity, the gift to take a couple more long, deep breaths deep into your diaphragms, enabling you to refocus. Bring your awareness back to your body, back to the here and now. And this is important to ensure that our external world actually matches our internal world and not the other way around. Breathing helps us to return to this calm center that resides within us. And if you do not feel this calm center within, well, then I feel it's important to learn to create one. Because you cannot create a more peaceful external world or more peaceful external life if your internal life is not at peace. As above, so below. As without, so within. Or in this case, as within, so without. So again, breathe. Breathe deep. Breathe some deep belly breaths. Breathing deep into your diaphragm. None of this shallow breathing from the top of our chest, top of our lungs. We want to breathe deeper. Taking the time out for inner contemplation. This is always beneficial whenever you want to change, and you want to take an opportunity. It can be the first thing that you do when you wake up. Take a few moments of contemplation of where you are now and the direction you want to head into before you get out of bed. It could be something that you do on your way to work. It's a safe place to do so, especially if you're using public transport. Just sit there and contemplate. Again, where you are now, direction you want to head into. It could be while you're waiting at the school for the drop-off or the collection. It could be done during your lunch break while you're washing the dishes. Even before you go to sleep at the end of the day. Finding 10 to 15 minutes to contemplate, to focus on your breathing, to become consciously aware of your breath, becoming mindful of the inhalation, exhalation, being aware, being brought back to the here and now. Because when we breathe in, it's up. And when we exhale, it's a relief. And I've said this in other videos, we've gone through a lot. And we need to release. Let go. Let go of the things that no longer serve us. Our world is in constant action. We are surrounded by constant noise. Life is busy and bustling. And these days we tend to be on call 24 hours a day. With our phones, with the internet. I was going to say pages, but they've gone out of fashion. We are externally stimulated through every waking moment of the day. So as we move into this new year, maybe it could be a good opportunity to make a commencement of a practice to establish some inner peace, some self-care, some inner calm in your life. Especially if you don't actually have a sense of direction. And in doing so, we can actually rewire, recalibrate ourselves internally in order to be able to fully integrate external changes that are happening around us all the time. And we've had so many external changes that it can be overwhelming. And silence. Tuning off. Taking a time out for silence. Enabling us to stay quiet internally. And if we have the opportunity, we can be quiet externally. And this process actually enables us to enter into an extremely powerful place of being. And that is one of observance. Being completely mindful, focused, and aware, yet fluid. Not being rigid, not allowing our consciousness to be contained. Instead, we allow our consciousness to ebb and flow with the energetic tides, as well as the rising and falling of each breath. And in all honesty, this can only be achieved when we actually reduce the amount of external stimulation we subject ourselves to, which is almost ironic because I'm doing this for a social media platform of sorts. But these are just techniques that we can then switch off our phone, unplug ourselves from the electronics, the Wi-Fi. We also unplug ourselves from the obligations or the need that we impose upon ourselves to always be connected. Sometimes we need to go bush or go on vision quests, or as the Aboriginals say, go and walk about, go back to country, come back to ourselves, come back to who we are. And this doesn't need to be a long period of time. This could be just as simple, as I said right at the beginning, 10 to 15-minute opportunity. Call it practice, opportunity, gift that we allow ourselves to experience silence. Some people say it's deafening because what we realize is that there's no actual silence in silence. We move to a different level of hearing. What can you hear when you move beyond the mundane noise, the external distractions? Can you hear higher vibration, higher sound? Can you hear your heartbeat, internal sounds? Can you even hear the messages or the sound of the cosmos, divine, Godhead, higher consciousness, spirit guides, guardian angels, whatever word you use? Allow yourself the opportunity and the space for these thoughts, for these feelings, for these emotions to surface, to rise, and then allow them just to fall away. No attachment, just acknowledging. And when we allow this to happen, we realize that beneath the surface of chaos that seems to be surrounding us, engulfing us, the endless bustle, pushing, the pulling, the changing, seeds of the new are being sown. Even in our own lives, the chaos of change and resistance has not actually prevented new growth to emerge, new ideas to form. All we need to do is just breathe, be patient. And in another video, I talked about the Seven of Pentacles. Maybe reflect on what we've put out there and what we will benefit when it comes to fruition. Breathing deep into our hearts, our stomachs, our diaphragm, our body, our soul. It is time to reconnect with our heart. And in turn, this will also allow trust to return. Yes, trust. We have gone through a great deal of trauma collectively over the last few years, where trust feels that it may have been breached or damaged or forgotten about, both personally and collectively. So much pain and trauma has surfaced. So much still remains unhealed, unprocessed on a huge scale. And some has even been manipulated and carefully constructed so we see it in a specific way. There's also the attempt to push it down again. How are the ways in your own life that you can bring back trust? How can you feel trust, experience it? How can you be trust, show trust? These are quite important questions to ask. Because if we don't trust, then effectively we come from a place of fear. How long do you want to continue living and operating from this place of fear? Sometimes I feel that this layer of trauma appears to be softening, lifting off gently, easily, maybe quickly. And trauma occurs where we have been deeply emotionally, physically, psychologically impacted by an event that has disturbed or disrupted or traumatized us in a way that we really cannot focus and function or in a way where how we function is actually impeded by that event. We're boxed in, we're shaped by it. And when we're looking at what we've gone through in the last few years, and it has been very traumatic as a collective, layers of traumatic pressed energy now this year feel like they're beginning to shift. And as such, you may feel a little bit more emotional than normal, whatever normal means, as these layers begin to lift from us. And as such, it is important to be able to receive, to remain open, to experience these emotions, these feelings. Because after all, it's they that remind us we are human. So breathe. Come back to the body. Listen to what it's telling us. Create that safe space, even if it's within our own self. And be gentle. Blessing.